Hello and welcome to another edition of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. This is Saturday, April 16th, 2022. I do have a little bit of information here in case you would like to visit my website, stampwithjuliebaum.com. If you go there and click on Shop Now, you'll be redirected to my online store. And if you would like to place an order for products that I might be showing you today or any other time, this is the current host code for the month of April. Today for our card, I'm actually starting with one of our note cards and envelopes. So these are sold in the catalog in a package of 20. You get 20 note cards and 20 envelopes. And this is making our card come together very quickly today. So here's the note card. And then what I've done, they are flat in the package, so I have folded it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a good crease with my bone folder. And what I've done is I have cut a piece of designer series paper. This is from Hand Penned, and it's just a pretty spring floral print. Any little print that you want to use for today's card would be great. A gingham or a stripe or a floral, you could really use lots of different looks. So I've trimmed this down to be a little bit smaller than the front of my note card. The note card is 3.5 by 5. So I've trimmed my card down to across here is 4.5 and this way is 3. Double check, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to attach it yet because we are going to do a little bit of a ribbon treatment, but let's get all of our pieces and then we will put this together. I'm using this as a last minute Easter card, so you could certainly do that since Easter is tomorrow, or you could, by changing the greeting, just make this a springtime card or a birthday card. You can decide. All right, so I am using our Ladybug punch for this, and I've grabbed a scrap of our lightest pink cardstock. This is called Blushing Bride, and I'm going to actually punch out one of the ladybugs out of the Blushing Bride cardstock. So that's getting us started. Then I'm also taking another punch. This is our medium daisy punch. And I'm going to cut a daisy out of that same Blushing Bride cardstock. Now you might start to get an idea of where I'm headed with this. I have seen this little trick on the internet. I've seen it on Pinterest and on some other demonstrator websites, so I'm certainly not the one to come up with it. But we're going to use our ladybug and our daisy to make a very simple bunny. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors and trim off the antenna that the ladybug punch created. And then I'm going to take 2 of the petals from my flower. Now this is pretty great because if I cut this down the middle and then cut each of those, you actually have 4 sets of bunny ears. So with one daisy, you can make 4 cards. All right, now I'm going to use the petals as my ears just like that. If you want to, you could also cut those apart. And what that would do, here I'll show you, what that would do is it would give you the ability to space the ears out differently. You could make them wider or closer set, but I'm totally fine with how the 2 connected are going to work. And again, we're going for fast and easy. So let's just use them that way. I'll add a tiny dab of liquid glue to my petals, which are now ears, and just lay that, what started out as a ladybug shape on top of there. You can see we've already transformed this little guy into a bunny. Then I'm going to take a punch. I think this one is retired, but you can use any punch that is a small flower. If you don't have a tiny flower, a small circle would work as well, but there's so many options, either in a punch or a die. All you need is a small-ish flower. This is what we're going to use for the bunny's tail. So I've got a scrap here, and I'm just going to fit it in there and punch that out. All right, so before I attach my tail onto here. I'm going to take my piercing mat. I'm going to lay the little flower right on top of there. And I'm just going to take a tool. This is an old piercing tool. You could take your pick tool. This would work as well, especially with the cap on this end. You could push it down here. Even the pencil of an eraser, you could use the cap of a pen. Something small. All we're going to do is use it to press down in the center of that flower. So what it's doing is it's kind of making it curl up like this. All right, then I'm going to grab a glue dot. You could also use a tiny bit of liquid glue, but I'm just going to peel my glue dot off of the backing paper. And I'm going to put it onto my bunny. As I'm looking at this bunny, I can see when I punched it, it's got a little nick taken out of it. So if I was not filming and going for speed, I would just punch another one. But if your bunny doesn't come out perfect, you know to punch a second one. All right, so I've got my little fluffy tail. I'm pressing down because I want the glue to be activated, but I also don't want to squish the little petals of the flower, so it kind of sticks up like that. All right, now we have our bunny. We're going to set that aside. You could do a bunny in whatever color. Here's a white one with a pink tail. You could do any pastel color that you might want to do, but it's so cute with just those 2 punches plus a third punch for the tail. All right, now we're going to go ahead and stamp our Happy Easter greeting. I'm using Misty Moonlight. This color is getting ready to retire. I'm going to miss it a lot. It has been a very, very reliable blue. I really like it. I'll be sad to see it go. And I've got a scrap of basic white cardstock. I have a stamp that says Happy Easter. This is also from a retired set, but grab what you have. I want you to be able to use what you have. So this was from a set, not long ago, called Welcome Easter. That's where I pulled this from. But you can get a Happy Easter or a Happy Spring or a Happy Birthday or any other greeting for our springtime card here. I'm just going to stamp and then fussy cut around my words. All right, so there we have that. All right, when I do this kind of cutting around the words, I don't want to drive myself crazy with being too picky. So you're just going to kind of do a roller coaster, just up and down. Go down on the lower letters, go up around the taller letters. All right, coming around here, scoop down and back up. Again, you don't want it to take a lot of time. All right, so now we've got our words. All right, here's our designer paper. Here is our pink bunny. Let's bring him back in. Come here. Okay, here's our words. So we're going to get ready to put this together. I'm going to show you a ribbon trick. It might not be the first time you've seen it, but it's super good to know. So I've taken a piece of ribbon that is 7 inches long, and it's just long enough to go across the front of my card and have little tails that I will tape to the back. All right, so by doing it this way, I'm not having to wrap ribbon around the entire card. So I'm actually saving quite a bit of ribbon by doing this trick. So I'm gonna lay it out on the bottom third of the card, right where I want it. I'm going to tuck this side back and just secure it. I thought I had some tape torn. Okay, let me grab this. I think I already used the pieces that I had previously torn. All right, so I'm going to grab my tear and tape and stick that down. Now, you could use a shorter piece, but I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit longer piece because this is also the adhesive that is going to stick it to my card front. Okay, so I'm going to look at the front again line this up so that it's straight to the eye, flip it over, and now I'm going to just secure that piece as well. We'll use the rest of this tear and tape for a strip across the top and a strip across the bottom. All right, give those a good press and we'll release the backings. I chose this paper, the hand penned, because I thought that the pink, the yellow, and the blue was, of course, very springy, but fit for an Easter card as well. And because the hand penned paper will be retiring soon, I've been looking to use some of these lovely pieces up that I haven't used yet. Okay, so I'm going to line it up on the front of my note card. And it's a little tricky to do and I don't want to get myself in the way. Usually I would lean way over and eyeball that, but we are going to go for it. All right, so that is attached. Then I have a second piece of that same color ribbon. This is a Daffodil Delight colored ribbon, but even though this yellow here is so saffron, it's very nice. I mean, it totally works, even though it's technically a little bit of a darker shade. So we're going to use this for a simple knot. We're not even going to tie a bow today. So I've just looped it around my ribbon and I'm going to pull it. That was about a 4-inch piece of ribbon. I could have gotten by with 3. So I would have used 10 inches total of ribbon, 7 for this piece and 3. But I did use 4. So if you're worried about being able to get a grip on it, just use 4 inches for this knot. Okay. And that is not a lot of ribbon to use on a card, a total of 10 inches. All right, so we've trimmed that down. The last thing I'm going to do is flip my greeting over and my bunny. And I'm going to add some of the smaller size dimensionals. So 2 would probably be enough for my greeting. It is a little bit longer, so I'm going to go ahead and use 3. And then I'm going to use a dimensional, and watch what I do here. I'm going to put it on the back of where the ears are attached to the body, kind of as extra reinforcement. So I've got that first one here, and then probably 2 others would be fine if you wanted to spread them out kind of like a triangle, or if you're not worried about saving your dimensionals, just go ahead and use 4 of them. That'll hold it on for sure. All right, let's put our bunny on first. Get the bunny in place. So he's gonna kind of straddle the ribbon like so. And then for the greeting, we'll get the backings off of those and get this one placed like so. And we have a super sweet, very quick and easy Easter card that you could also use for any other occasions. If you'd like to stick around for 2 more minutes, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a coordinating envelope that goes with this card. So what I'm going to take now is the envelope from the Notecards and Envelopes. Clear those out of the way. Okay, so here's the envelope, and I've cut another piece of designer series paper. I want it to be just longer than this flap. So this piece measures about 5.5 inches, and then I want it a little bit wider than the flap as well. So this piece is 2.25, 2.5 inches. What is it? 2.25. So take my liquid glue, and I do want to get my glue very close to the fold where the envelope flap folds. I want to get it way up close to that edge, as well as very close to all the free edges. Okay, so I'm not putting down a thick layer of glue because I don't want it to squish out, but I do want it closer to the edge than I would typically worry about. That's because when I glue this piece on, I don't want any edges to be able to come up and maybe cause it to tear, and then just a squiggle in the middle. Now I can lay this piece of designer series paper down right up against that fold. And your liquid glue is your friend here because you can slide it a little bit if you need to. So again, I'm pressing it. I am right at the fold. And then make sure it's pressed down really, really well all around. Then you just take your paper snips and you're just going to snip off all of the excess. So this method is so much faster than trying to cut or create a paper shape that fits your envelope. Just glue a piece that's slightly larger onto it and then trim it down. Also, these envelopes have this little rounded edge, and so this makes it look really nice and clean instead of trying to cut a piece of paper first that's going to fit just right and gluing it on. So I can move all those scraps aside and show you my envelope flap that matches my card. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a comment and let me know what you plan to do with these ideas. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe, and then you'll know every time I put up another video. Thanks for watching. Be sure and watch all the other Simply Saturday episodes, and I will see you next time. Bye.